What's up, everybody? It's Lights Camera Jackson. Welcome to LCJ Live. Today is Sunday, April the 2nd, 2023. Hope you are doing well. Just gonna make sure I got the video here. Oh yeah, check out I got a cool little surprise here in a moment. Check out my shirt. Bowser! Yes, Bowser. I got this at New York Comic Con back in October when the trailer launched for the new Super Mario Brothers movie, and Jack Black was there as Bowser, talking about his excitement for this movie. So many Nintendo fans were there, so excited for the film. It opens Wednesday, Universal and Illumination. It is going to be huge. You know who I also have here with me? I think you'll be able to see them in a second. Princess Peach and Mario. You can see Mario. There's Princess Peach. There you go. They're with me here. Of course, the movie is going to be a gigantic hit. It will try to chase the $369.5 million of Minions: The Rise of Gru from last summer. I think it can get there. How big will the first 6 days be? We're going Wednesday through Easter Monday. How will it be? Lots of kids off from school. Some on Friday, some the following Monday. Obviously, the weekend's going to be big. The whole next week, some kids have off around the country. So everybody's going to be going to see these two and all the other characters, Bowser and all the others, in the Super Mario Brothers movie when it opens Wednesday. Another big movie opening Wednesday is Air. I saw Air last night. Coming up, I will give you my thoughts on Air. Don't forget to send in your questions and your comments if you're watching live here today on YouTube Live. We're going to do box office first, then I'll review Air. I've also seen Paint. I've seen a documentary called Living with Chucky about Chucky and more. Let's start with Dungeons & Dragons, your number one movie, $38.5 million. It's a good number for a film that I don't love. I don't even think it's great or even sort of good, but it's okay. It has its moments. It's light in tone. I actually think the ending is handled well. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, $38.5 million. It had 3 sets of nationwide pay preview screenings, March 19, 26, and 29, on top of the Thursday through Sunday gross here. That's all put together for this 38.5. It's a good number. It's the second number one movie that started in the month of March for Paramount. Of course, Scream 6 being the other one. Paramount's in a good spot this year with these two movies. And 80 for Brady, which has made close to $40 million. A solid number for that film. And now Dungeons & Dragons 38.5 took down John Wick, which had 73 million plus last weekend, down to 28.2 this weekend. It's at 122.9. That's a bigger drop than I expected. And my concern is the movie is so long. It's 2 hours and 49 minutes. It's a good movie. The third act is fantastic. But are people going to have the time to see a 2 hour, 49 minute movie again, a second or a third time? Did everyone go right away, needing to see it right away? How will theaters do in terms of showtimes? Some theaters may quickly soon only be able to put 2 showings of John Wick per day on each screen. So look, we're still, about 49? I'm just checking here, about 49 million away from what John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum did back in 2019, I think. Yeah, 171. So we're 49 million away-ish. I think it'll get there, but this number going under 30, excuse me, going under 30 million after doing 73.7 million last weekend, that's a bigger drop than we expected. So I think it'll get there. It's at 122.9. I think it'll get to 171, but it's going to be a little tougher than maybe Lionsgate expected unless the holds over the next several weeks are strong. Tie for third, new film called His Only Son, 5.3 million, and Scream 6 with 5.3 million. Scream 6 is at 98.2. It will cross 100 million for Paramount. They should want to do another Scream. We'll see if it comes out in 14 months, just like the gap from the last one to this one. The last one did 81.6. We're already at 98.2. It'll get to 100, probably close to 110 when all is said and done. Creed 3, another 5 million. It's at 148.6. It'll pass 150. Much higher than the 115 and the 120 that the first 2 Creed movies did. So this franchise is going to keep going and going for Amazon and MGM. Maybe it'll get to 6 movies, just like the Rocky franchise. We'll have to see. Shazam. Fury of the Gods fell again. It started with 30 million, went under 10 last weekend, under 5 this weekend, 4.7 million for Shazam. It's at 53.6, significantly less than the $140 million that the first Shazam made back in 2019. We are now just hitting, after 3 weekends and 2 full weeks, the opening weekend of what the first Shazam movie did in 2019, which was $53.5 million. It's at 53.6. It took this long just to get to the open of the first one. Yeah, Warner Brothers and DC not in a good spot right now when it comes to DC superhero movies. New film called 1001 made $1.8 million this weekend from Focus Features. Better than expectations were for it. I think the buzz on this is very strong. I haven't seen it yet, but $1.8 million for 1001. Let's see. Also, we've got 65, 1.6 million. It has crossed 30 million for Sony Columbia. It's at 30.6 million. 1.2 million for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. It's at 212. Still needs another 5 or 6 million to get to what the last Ant-Man did. At this point, Disney cannot force another $5 or $6 million. It will be a lower grossing Ant-Man movie than the last one. Had that, 104, 106 million open? Basically, half of its money came in its first 3.5 days. That says a lot. More than that when you count the 4th day, which was big for it. More than half its money came in its first 4.5 days. That says a lot. And rounding out your top 10 this weekend is Jesus Revolution, which added $1 million. It's at 50.9 million. It crossed 50 million for Lionsgate. They are certainly happy about that. Obviously, Mario is out this weekend. Starting Wednesday, it's going to be a blockbuster. Some other movies coming out. One I haven't seen yet is called On a Wing and a Prayer from Dennis Quaid and Amazon. That's going to be on Prime Video Friday. I have seen this documentary called Living with Chucky, which is on VOD on Tuesday. It's a solid documentary on the Chucky film franchise. And you run through all the Chucky movies, insider info, cool details. It's like the ultimate DVD extra of all this behind-the-scenes info. Even if you're not a horror movie fan or a fan of this franchise, you will admire this. You will admire what the filmmakers did with all these Chucky movies. It's a nice film. And then you get to this third act, and it opens up a new set of doors. And you find out that there's more meaning behind this movie than what was you were initially expecting. So stick with it. It's a good time. It's a nice documentary. Living with Chucky, available on VOD on Tuesday. Film called Showing Up comes out in select theaters Friday. Stars Michelle Williams. We're going to have more thoughts on that later this week. It's from A24. Also, another movie about an artist, Paint, starring Owen Wilson, opens in theaters this coming weekend. I have seen it. It was filmed in my neck of the woods of upstate New York, Saratoga, New York specifically, and at the WMHT studios in North Greenbush, and about half the movie takes place there. The offices, outside the building, and inside filming it because it's about Carl Nargle, this painter, played by Owen Wilson on this PBS show, and they wanted the PBS studios to film his episodes of his show. And so, yeah, about half the movie's there. I interned there in high school, so it was really cool seeing that, and a lot of references to the Capital Region, upstate New York, in Paint, which opens this week. And, of course, Air, which I saw last night. It is Ben Affleck's new movie about the Air Jordan and getting Michael Jordan to Nike, and about his parents, and about the talent scout who was so courageous and so determined to get Michael Jordan to come to Nike. It's a good film. The best performances come from Matt Damon and Viola Davis. They have the best dialogue. They have the best scenes. Other characters, Jason Bateman, Chris Messina, a little too over the top. Marlon Wayans is in a single scene. Ben Affleck plays Phil Knight, the big guy at Nike, and it's an eccentric role. I don't love everything Ben Affleck does with the character, but some of the decisions as a director that he makes, I like. Some of them take you by surprise. Some of them I don't think work 100%. But he gets Damon and Davis to give some of their best performances of the past 10 years, without question. Damon is so good in Ford versus Ferrari. I don't know if this role, his performance in this comes close to that. What holds me back is he gives some very good speeches. He gives 2 in particular very good speeches in this movie. Are they kind of forceful? Yeah. There are a lot of fun facts this movie throws in. Are they kind of forceful? Yeah. Is the humor kind of forceful? Yeah. But it's still a good time. It's an enjoyable film. There are thrilling kind of moments towards the end of it as you figure out if if and how a certain deal is going to happen. There's a great, Viola Davis has a couple key scenes, especially with Damon. One towards the end is great. Affleck relies on a lot of close-ups. Yes, he does. Does he? Yes, he does. So I don't think it's as powerful of a movie as Argo. I don't think it's as genuinely, emotionally, shockingly as powerful as Ford versus Ferrari. But it's a good film. It's a well-intentioned movie, I think, for the most part. You learn some new things. You see some great actors give some solid performances, especially Davis and Damon, better than average. They have the best dialogue. I don't agree with everything in the script. I like the film. It's not outstanding. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, it's the first Best Picture contender of the year. Acting, yeah, I would remember Damon and Davis towards the end of the year when we're talking awards season. Is the screenplay a complete slam dunk? No, but it's good. Will it be a Best Picture nominee? I don't know. We're so far away from all that. But it's a nice film. It's a positive film. And it's in theaters Wednesday. Amazon really putting out there the fact that they care about cinemas, which is great. So this is in theaters nationwide. It was a good crowd last night at the screening I attended. They did nationwide pay-per-view screenings around the country. And I think it'll do very well, especially older audiences and fans of these actors and of Ben Affleck as a director, to go see this starting on Wednesday. Yeah, I think it's going to do pretty well. I just want to pull up here and make sure I'm not forgetting a couple things. I mean, as a director, I would say, yes, I have not still seen Gone Baby Gone. It's on my list. I'll eventually get to all these films. It's not quite as good as Argo. It is better than Live by Night. Yeah, it's better than Live by Night. Live by Night had a very good performance in Elle Fanning, who I thought got overlooked, supporting actress that award season. But Live by Night was messy. This is not a messy film. This is a film that knows what it's doing every step of the way. Whether you agree with everything or not, that's up to you. But it knows what it's doing. It's carefully planned out. It's smart in a lot of the decisions it makes. It's a much better film than Live by Night. Live by Night was disappointing because it was messy. It was kind of boring. And except for the Elle Fanning performance, there wasn't anything to you could emotionally invest yourself in. So, yeah, it's better than that. I know he co-wrote The Last Duel. I like this movie more than The Last Duel. Yeah, so it's better than those. Not quite as good as Argo, but that is Air in theaters Wednesday. I had the opportunity earlier this week to go to Pixar. Earlier this past week, about a week ago, I went to Pixar for the very first time. This is a bag we all got for their new movie, Elemental, which opens June 16th. And it was so cool to interview the makers of it and see the footage of the movie. I'm going to answer a question here from The Creative Treatment. How big do you think Mario will perform next weekend? By Monday night, it will absolutely get to 100 million, if not 125. 150, we'll see. I really think 125 million plus by Monday night. Starting Wednesday through Monday night, it will get to at least $125 million, if not more. It's going to be a blockbuster. Elemental, I think, is also going to do well for families, and I've seen about 25 minutes of footage, interviewed the makers, got a Q&A with the director and the producer. That's up at animationscoop.com. The movie is about fire and water and Ember and Wade and their relationship, and there's a lot that was explained to us when we were there. Let me say this about the trailer. I don't know if you had the chance to watch the trailer. If you did, the trailer doesn't exactly explain everything yet. And that's good because you don't want to know everything, obviously. But it doesn't even explain some of the things we learned at the event at Pixar. Wade and Ember are going to try to be friends. They may try to be more than friends. And there's a very good scene out of the footage we saw that shows them going on some dates. And that scene, to me, gave me the impression of this movie is really going after 20-somethings, teens, 20-somethings, and that they should give this movie a chance. Because there's something there, and I'm looking forward to more of it. There's something about this dynamic that feels fresh. We've had romance stories a little bit in Pixar. We've had Woody and Bo Peep, Wall-E and Eve, obviously. This feels a little different than that, and it feels contemporary in a sense. And I like that. I like what it has to say about opening yourself up to others. I like the visuals. I like the fun of it. There's a baseball type scene that's pretty cool looking. We actually got to see it in 3D. The 3D was good. I haven't seen anything in 3D in years. So the 3D may be worth it this time. Even paying the extra money, paying all the money, it's expensive, I know. May be worth it if you make it an event. And I was talking with some of the people at Pixar about this. If families decide, okay, we're going to make this an event, Mario will be an event. If we want to make this an event, maybe this is when we spend a little extra money on the 3D, if it's worth it. The footage looked good. The voice cast includes Wendy McClendon-Covey and Catherine O'Hara, along with Leah Lewis and Mamadou Ache, who voiced the two leads. And the director, Peter Sun, did The Good Dinosaur, and also voiced Emile in Ratatouille. It was so fun talking with him about that. So it's a film I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing the entire thing. Elemental opens June 16th in theaters. It's a big June for animation. Spider-Verse is out June 2nd from Sony. Pixar's Elemental June 16, and Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken from DreamWorks on June 30. So it's great for those. I'm sure the trailers for all three of those will play before Super Mario Brothers movie in theaters starting Wednesday. Next Sunday is Easter. I think we'll be here at this time for LCJ Live. If not, I'll let you know. But keep it tuned to my social media. That's Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. More of my thoughts on Air. I'm seeing Mario this week. Thoughts on Showing Up. More insight on Paint. Living with Chucky. TooFast2Films.com for Living with Chucky and Dungeons & Dragons, me and Mike Sargent. On A Wing and a Prayer, I think I'll be seeing this week. So more of that and more news and more info and more cool interviews on the way. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Really appreciate it. I am Lights Camera Jackson, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.